Hey everyone, welcome back. It is now May 10th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that we are now in a position where Disney is essentially in full damage control mode, really trying to make some patches here for the franchise of what really was done with The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker upset a lot of fans out there. It really made them turn the other direction and really moving away from the brand. And thankfully now Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, the new CEO of Disney, Chapek is really trying to put things together with Bob Iger helping him throughout this entire crisis that's happening around the world. Now, the thing about Disney Star Wars is that they have over 10 years worth of Star Wars projects in the works on Disney Plus alone. That really is a big deal because that's for the TV shows, whether it be live action or animated form. That's separate from the movies, so you can see how ambitious and how driven Disney really is right now in order to really make Disney Star Wars as big as the MCU, quite hopefully. Now, looking at everything related to Kathleen Kennedy, we've talked about her before, that she's a very incompetent leader over at Lucasfilm, and the good news is that Disney has full interest in Jon Favreau to take over the role as president over Lucasfilm. He's actually one of the candidates. In fact, he's the top candidate to take over Kathleen Kennedy, and I honestly think that he would be a really good fit, probably the best fit for Lucasfilm. Now, moving on, with that being said, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars universe that will introduce a brand new mythology to Star Wars fans around the world. Now, it's explained that both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are currently hard at work on developing the new universe with George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and even Dave Filoni. However, during and after the premiere for The Rise of Skywalker, many interviews were given to the creators of the sequel trilogy, as well as the actors of the films. Now, eventually, Daisy Ridley was questioned about Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, and of course when it came to Star Wars, to where Daisy was able to reveal that Kathleen Kennedy was the one responsible for changing the ending of the film multiple times, and that this made the end of the third act very difficult, since Daisy would then have to rehearse multiple times for her tweaked scenes for the ending of the movie. Now, Daisy went on to state that Kathleen Kennedy pushed the ending to be more about Rey and less about the Skywalkers in general at heart, like Luke and/or Anakin, since Rey is the center of the story. When questioned about her stance on Reylo and the relationship between Rey and Kylo Ren, Daisy Ridley went on to reveal that Kathleen Kennedy originally wanted to have tons of Reylo scenes in the movie. However, J.J. Abrams was against the idea and proposed that they would stick with one final scene that would define their romance at the very end of the movie. However, behind the scenes, eventually Kathleen Kennedy wanted to undo the concept of Reylo, and in the novel it is implied that the kiss is a non-romantic kiss. Daisy went on to reveal that also Kathleen Kennedy was the one who initiated the 2 phases of reshoots in 2018 and 2019, and that this made the production of the movie quite difficult for the crew to handle, especially in Jordan. Daisy states that many of the scenes in Jordan and what they shot over at Pinewood were redone in order to give the film a new tone, and that before Kennedy stepped in to do reshoots, the film had a far different tone and feel, and even included some of Colin Trevorrow's ideas and concepts that were thrown away by Kathleen Kennedy because she wanted nothing to do with the creative past for The Rise of Skywalker. Now, Daisy also reveals that she had way more action originally in the movie, where Kathleen Kennedy came on board and deleted those sequences that may never see the light of day, since Kennedy wanted none of the scenes to make it over to the Blu-ray edition of the movie as well. So, the thing about Disney Star Wars is that we can see that we've always had this constant roller coaster, right? This scenario where you always have creatives coming on board, creatives either getting fired or stepping down, or concepts being thrown into a movie and then getting deleted from a movie. And The Rise of Skywalker really is the prime example of that, because this movie, I don't know if you guys knew, was once 4 hours and 20-something minutes long in length before it was cut down to 2 hours and change. And that really is a big deal, because it tells us that originally they probably had the plan to divide it into two different parts. In fact, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Chris Terrio, the co-writer of the film, even stated before in the past, a couple of months ago, that originally they actually had plans to divide the movie into two different segments, kind of like what a lot of franchises out there did, like the Harry Potter franchise. Prime example there as well. So I can understand Daisy, you know, having to do all these scenes and then them being deleted and Kathleen Kennedy tweaking the endings, you know, multiple times. That's got to be quite frustrating to deal with, because acting is a very hard job when you're really trying to put yourself into the actual moment and trying to get it down to the perfect T here to really make it pretty much stand out. And only for it to get deleted, I can honestly understand that. You know, when you look at Kathleen Kennedy, she seems to have no remorse for these actions of hers, you know, based on Star Wars, and I think it's a really good thing that Chapek and Iger are focusing away from Kennedy and focusing more on getting somebody else on board for Lucasfilm. So with that being said, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.